Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. My name is Belinda Ray. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at Greater Portland Council of Governments, here with my colleague, Paul Johnson, the Director of Economic Development. And we are here to help connect our members and our community partners to resources and funding opportunities to help make our region the best it can possibly be. If you have questions as we go through our presentations today, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box. We will answer any questions at the end, and we will also send the slides from the presentation to anyone who's registered or attending today. Okay, I think that's the introductory stuff. Let me share our presentation. And Paul, are you ready?
I was born ready, Belinda. Let's do
it. All right. You know, this never goes the first time I click it.
It looks good so far.
Yeah, but there's like a delay. What a pain. Bear with me 1 second here. There we are. All right, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Today, I'm going to just spend 2 or 3 minutes talking about the Maine Venture Fund. Usually my section of Money Mondays is more business oriented, and Belinda's is more municipality and organization oriented. With Maine Venture Fund, just a quick overview of who they are, what they do. I'm certainly not an expert, but it is a resource out there that I have found that many business owners and people that deal with business owners aren't super familiar with. So Maine Venture Fund is essentially the board of directors is lots of members of the Department of Economic and Community Development and business leaders in the community. And it essentially has funds for Maine startups in an equity investment, looking for equity investments, which is pretty unique because you'll hear a lot about grants and you'll hear a lot about loans. But there's actually an entity out there, Maine Venture Fund, that will consider equity investing into new businesses and startups. So what equity investing means is they will essentially come in and they'll give you an injection of capital, money, and in exchange, those are typically convertible notes, which would be a short-term loan that if not paid back, and a lot of times they're not paid back in a short amount of time, and then they convert to an actual percent ownership of your business. So with that, next slide, Belinda. A couple of quick things. It's really made for the scaling stage of a business. So if you started a small software company or some other manufacturing company, or you have a product and you get to that point where you say, oh my goodness, this is working, and maybe I can make $1 billion with this, but I also have a full-time job, and I know the only way I can put all of my energy into this new business is if I have this breathing room of actually having some money, being able to pay myself as an owner, to build out a team, and to scale up. That's the time you usually go for your first round of equity investment. And then typically for the Maine Venture Fund, they're looking at about $1 million total, and they will kick in somewhere between 10 to 30% of that $1 million. The good news is you can also use them as a resource to help you actually connect with other investors. So they're a good first stop if you've never experienced a capital raising campaign or investor period. They're also an amazing resource. You can reach out to them and say, hey, where do I get started? And again, it's really about, hey, can I get $1 million to then bring my business to a scalable business? Maybe it becomes nationwide. Maybe it becomes users if you're doing software. And they expect you to have, then there usually becomes like a board of directors, and typically there's investors on that, right? And then there's also the founders of the company. Next slide, Belinda. We don't have to do, I'm not going to go over the details of this. This is all right on their website, on the Maine Venture Fund website. But you'll see it's about a 4 to 6 month period from the day you have your first meeting to the day that you might get some actual injection of equity or capital, I should say. That's pretty normal. I'd say that's actually pretty fast, right? So if you start now and in 6 months you had $1 million to quit your day job and to work on your business full time, 6 months is a pretty short period. So they're pretty efficient, and this is a great little timeline of the process. And lastly, you might say, well, this all sounds $1 million, sounds like a ton of money, and I might not know a business that is is primed for that, but really there's a lot more out there than you think. There's a list on their website of all their current investees, but I just put a couple there on the next slide. If you any of these seem familiar to you, these are companies that have active investments from the Maine Venture Fund. A couple of these myself, I actually, in my position, I've worked with a couple of these companies as well. This is only 5. I think there's about 50 that are listed on the website. I just picked 5 that I had either heard of myself or that I have worked with in my professional capacity. And you can see that it's really a great way to take a Maine business and bring it to the next level. And it's also unique. I think it's something that doesn't actually get spoken of enough in our sphere. So do us a favor. And if you have a business owner or if you're out networking, realize the Maine Venture Fund is there for you. And with that, Belinda, your turn.
Thanks, Paul. I like that it looks like maybe Money Mondays has worked with the venture fund, because our logo is right there. Yeah. We could use $1 million to really kick this into the next gear. Yeah. Okay, so I have 2 programs that I'm talking about today, and I'm putting them together because they are very similar. They have the same deadline. They are both through Maine Department of Transportation. So Municipal Stream Crossing Program and the Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund are grant programs that are designed to help adapt critical public infrastructure to reduce their vulnerability to climate change. So they are trying to disperse this funding across the state to many areas that have experienced storm damage. And every project that applies needs to demonstrate that when this project is completed, it will improve that infrastructure's resilience to future storm flooding and flooding impacts. They don't want to just fix a road, just pave it. They want to make sure that you take care of this and it's not going to be washed out again in the next huge storm. So what they will fund, again, it's infrastructure. The Municipal Stream Crossing Program is very specific. This is for the upgrade of municipal culverts at stream crossings. The stream crossing has to be on a local government road, under a local government road, not a state road, not a state aid road, not a private road. There are sizing requirements for what you're planning to do. It has to meet certain specifications, and you have to meet the Maine DOT 100-year flood standard. So that's municipal stream. Now, Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund will cover other infrastructure projects. It will cover also your project scoping and design. So if you have something you are looking at, if you have an area that is just, perennially flooding and you really need to take care of it, this is a good opportunity to do some scoping and design for how to fix that. It will also cover construction. And we're looking at projects like stormwater systems, water systems upgrades, water and wastewater treatment plant upgrades, transportation resilience projects. So any transportation project that is not a stream crossing belongs here. And the exciting thing is that you can apply for up to 3 projects. So 3 separate applications, but you can do up to 3 projects through this program. Which one should you apply for? Well, again, municipal stream is very specific. If it's a local government road with a stream crossing, that's the one you need to go for. And if you were to apply for Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund, they would probably say to you, no, this belongs over there. Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund is for anything else that you're looking for. If you're looking to upgrade a water treatment plant or fix a road that washes out every year or put in some stormwater handling infrastructure, that's your program. Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund will not fund things like generators and emergency service communications, won't pave a road if it's not related to a resilience project, and they don't want to do studies. They're not looking to scope, they will fund your scoping, but they don't want to do studies here. They want to make sure we are getting to a solution. Both funds, both programs have the same 3 things that will get you extra points. So if you have a project and you applied for FEMA funds and you didn't get them, you have extra points here. If you have a project that wasn't covered by insurance, extra points. And if you have a project where there was just no other emergency relief granted or available, again, they're looking to help you out with this program. Municipalities are eligible, but there are also other entities that are eligible here for this funding. And then the key features in those first two columns, we have your funding that you can get and the amount that you have to pay, the cost share. So for Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund, you can get up to $75,000 if you're doing scoping and design. You can get up to $4 million if you are getting into construction. And the cost share there is you have to come up with 5% local match of the total project cost. Now for stream crossing, you can get up to $200,000. It can cover your design and construction. And the caveat here is that this has to result in a completed construction project. So they are not looking to, fund a phase. They want the whole thing to be able to come to fruition if you get this funding. And for stream crossing, you have to put up at least $5,000 in local match. That can be cash or in kind. So if your Department of Public Works is going to be doing a lot of the work here, that can be your in-kind contribution to match the funding. If you get this money, you have 2 years from the signing of the agreement to use the funds, expend the funds. The deadline for both of these is July 1st, which is just a couple weeks away, but this is not a really hard application. I've given it a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. It is a fillable form, so you don't have to create out of, whole cloth your narrative and all of that. They walk you through it. You fill in the text where they tell you to fill it in. You add plans and documents where they tell you to add them. Engineering plans not required. And I've highlighted that here because if you go through the application, you'll see several places where it says you can attach your engineering plans. And I just want you to know if you don't have them, it's okay. You can still apply. And once again, Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund, any one entity can submit up to 3 project applications. If you are looking for more information on these, there is a nice website. I have a link to the application, and the contact for both grants is Sierra Malay, an environmental specialist at MDOT. We will send you these slides so you will have these links. And that is all I have today. There are our emails if you have follow-up questions. And I think that is a wrap.
I think so too. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next Monday.
Okay, great. Enjoy your week. Bye.